Ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with the constant HCl. Then we can get ethyl chloride Ce2H5Cl plus H2O. This is just a nucleophilic substitution reaction. So this OH minus is replaced by Cl minus. So this is the way of preparation of chloroalkanes from alcohols by reacting with the mixture of N-hydrazine and Cl2 and concentrated HCl, which is known as Lucas reagent. Then how to prepare bromoalkanes. So when alcohols are allowed to react with HBr, hydrogen bromide, in the presence of concentrated H2SO4. Okay. Then here also this Br minus replaces OH minus. Then you can get RBr plus H2. See, the same reaction can also be carried out in another way. So when alcohols is allowed to react with NaBr in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, then first is concentrated H2SO4 react with NaBr to produce HBr, and that HBr react with alcohol, and this OH minus is replaced by Br minus. Then what you will get here, RBr plus NaHSO4 plus H2O. So alcohols react with hydrogen bromide in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, or when alcohols are allowed to react with sodium bromide in the presence of concentrated H2SO4, we can get bromoalkanes. And for example, just replace alkyl group here with ethyl group, then you can get the product here. Let us see an example here. C2H5OH plus HBr in the presence of same concentrated H2SO4 gives C2H5Br plus H2O. Ethyl alcohol react with hydrogen bromide in the presence of concentrated H2SO4 to give ethyl bromide. Same process can be carried out here also. Just replace alkyl with ethyl and write the equation as it is. Then, how to prepare iodoalkanes? See, when alcohols are allowed to react with potassium iodide in the presence of H3PO4, around 85% concentrated H3PO4. Okay. Here you use around 48% HBr in this reaction. Already studied in haloalkanes clearly. So when alcohols are react with potassium iodide in the presence of H3PO4. So here we should not use concentrated H2SO4. Why? Because the concentrated H2SO4 can oxidize potassium iodide to Hi, which is further oxidized to iodine. Since concentrated H2SO4 oxidizes potassium iodide to hydrogen iodide, which in turn oxidizes to iodine, which cannot react with alcohol. That's why here H2SO4 is not used. Instead of that, we are using H3PO4, concentrated phosphoric acid. First, this Ki react with H3PO4 and gives KH2PO4 plus Hi. First, these two interact and gives Hi plus KH2PO4, potassium dihydrogen phosphate. And what the Hi formed there, that Hi can react with this alcohol. Then OH minus is replaced by I minus. We can get alkyl iodide plus water. This is an example. Let us just take same example. C2H5OH plus potassium iodide in the presence of phosphoric acid gives rise C2H5I ethyl iodide plus KH2PO4 plus H2O. This is the reaction of alcohols with halogen acids. See once again, when alcohols react with the mixture of concentrated HCl and anhydrous dead Cl2 known as Lucas reagent, we can get haloalkanes. If ethyl alcohol react, we can get ethyl chloride. Bromoalkanes can be obtained by the reaction of alcohols with HBr in the presence of H2SO4 or with alcohols with NaBr in the presence of concentrated H2SO4. Suppose we take ethyl alcohol, when ethyl alcohol react with HBr or NaBr in the presence of H2SO4, we can get ethyl bromide or bromoethane. In the preparation of iodoalkanes from alcohols, H2SO4 should not be used because that can oxidize potassium iodide. That's why we are using H3PO4 phosphoric acid. And that phosphoric acid first react with Ki to produce Hi. That Hi can react with alcohol to give alkyl iodide, nothing but ethyl iodide if you take ethyl alcohol as starting material. So this is the preparation of haloalkanes, nothing but reaction of alcohols with halogen acids. First type. Now, come to the same second reaction here. Reaction with phosphorus halides. So reaction of alcohols with phosphorus halides. See, phosphorus forms mainly two types of halides, trihalide and pentahalide. So when alcohols are allowed to react with phosphorus trihalides or phosphorus pentahalides, they can produce haloalkanes. Now let us see here. ROH. So when alcohol is allowed to react with PCl3, phosphorus trichloride, then see 3 moles of alcohols can react with 1 mole of phosphorus chloride, and here 3 OH groups are replaced by 3 chlorines. Then you can get 3 moles of RCl plus a POH taken thrice, nothing but H3PO3. Haloalkanes, alcohols react with phosphorus trichloride to give alkyl chloride. An example for the same. When ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with phosphorus trichloride PCl3, then we can get 3 moles of ethyl chloride plus H3PO3, phosphorus acid. This is next. When alcohols are allowed to react with bromine in the red phosphorus plus bromine mixture. So first here red phosphorus react with bromine and use PBr3, or if you carry out the same reaction by taking with iodine in the presence of red phosphorus. So this red phosphorus react with bromine or iodine to produce a PBr3 and PI3. Why? Because PBr3 and PI3 are less stable, so they are produced in the reaction by the reaction of bromine or iodine with phosphorus. First, this phosphorus react with bromine to give PBr3 or here PI3. That PBr3 and PI3 can react with alcohol. OH minus is replaced by bromine and I minus here. Then what you will get here? RCl, chloroalkane. Here you can get RBr. Here you can get iodoalkane. So this is the preparation of reaction of alcohols with phosphorus trihalides, PCl3, PBr3 and PI3 are produced by the reaction of red phosphorus with bromine or iodine in the reaction. Next, this is regarding reaction of alcohols with the phosphorus trihalides. Now, what about the reaction of alcohols with phosphorus pentahalides? See now one more, second one here. ROH. Alcohols react with phosphorus pentachloride PCl5. when alcohols react with PCl5, then here OH minus is replaced by Cl minus, and we can get a RCl plus HCl plus POCl3. This is the equation. And for example, take replace R with ethyl under the equation. Ethyl alcohol, when react with PCl5, it gives ethyl chloride, CH by Cl plus HCl plus POCl3. This is the reaction. So when alcohols are allowed to react with the phosphorus pentachloride, haloalkanes are formed, that's what chloroalkanes are formed. And here PBr5, Pi5 does not exist in stable state because of the steric hindrance around phosphorus. This large size 5 bromine atoms or iodine atoms cannot be held strongly by the phosphorus atom. So this PBr5 and Pi5 does not exist in stable state. So with the phosphorus pentahalides, we can prepare only chloroalkanes. Bromoalkanes and ialkanes cannot be prepared by the reaction of PBr5 or PR5, which does not exist. Whereas trihalides, you can, by using trihalides, you can prepare bromoalkanes as well as iodoalkanes. So this is the reaction of alcohols with the phosphorus halides. And so overall, trihalides of phosphorus or pentahalides of phosphorus react with alcohols to give haloalkanes. And one more reaction is there, reaction with thionyl chloride. And this one also we discussed already in haloalkanes preparation methods. See, when alcohols are allowed to react with thionyl chloride SOCl2 in the presence of pyridine, and this is nothing but called as a D'Orgen's process, which is the best method for the preparation of haloalkanes, nothing but chloroalkanes. So when all alcohols are allowed to react with thionyl chloride in the presence of pyridine, so we can get RCl plus SO2 plus HCl. The byproducts are gases which can be easily escaped out. So by this method, we can prepare haloalkanes in the pure state. And what is the role of this pyridine is? Pyridine is a base. This pyridine base can absorb HCl formed in the reaction. Means HCl will be neutralized by pyridine present in the reaction. So this is called D'Orgen's process. Let us take an example here. C2H5OH, ethyl alcohol. So when ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with thionyl chloride in the presence of pyridine, then we can get C2H5Cl plus SO2 plus HCl. Ethyl alcohol gives ethyl chloride. So these are the reactions which involves the replacement of OH minus by halogen. So three reactions we discussed here. The first one is reaction of alcohols with halogen acids. The second one is reaction of alcohols with the phosphorus trihalides and pentahalides. And third one is reaction of alcohols with thionyl chloride. So these are the reactions involving cleavage of COH bond, second type of reactions. The same already we discussed in haloalkanes preparation. The first set of preparation methods in haloalkanes, nothing but the same what we discussed right now. Now, so come to the third type of reactions. Reactions involving cleavage of COH and alkyl group. Here the cleavage of COH as well as alkyl group takes place. Let us take first one in that. Dehydration of alcohols. This is a very important topic here. So almost every year they are asking question based on this dehydration of alcohols. Nothing but a mechanism of dehydration of alcohols. Let us see. First, we'll take an example. Ethyl alcohol, CH3, CH2OH. When ethyl alcohol is treated with a concentrated H2SO4 at a temperature of 170 degrees Celsius, then dehydration takes place to give a ethylene, H2C double bond CH2 plus water gets separated, that water will combine with H2SO4. So the role of H2SO4 at 170 degrees Celsius is it acts as a dehydrating agent. See what are different types of dehydrating agents we are using here. Let's see some examples I'll give here. Concentrated H2SO4, it is a dehydrating agent and we should maintain certain temperature. KHSO4, potassium hydrogen sulfate, on here at high temperatures. Otherwise phosphoric acid, H3PO4 plus heat. P2O5, phosphorus pentoxide. Anhydrous, ZnCl2 and heat. Al2O3, heating. So these are some examples of dehydrating agents which are used most commonly. So most commonly used dehydrating agents, all these: H2SO4, potassium hydrogen sulfate, phosphoric acid, P2O5, anhydrous ZnCl2, Al2O3. These are most commonly used dehydrating agents. Other than this, even some other dehydrating agents also there. So these are most commonly used dehydrating agents in reactions. So dehydration, D means removal, hydro means water, removal of water. So removal of water with a constant H2SO4 at 170 degrees Celsius gives ethylene, and water gets separate, and that water will be absorbed by this H2SO4, because H2SO4 can act as a dehydrating agent as well as drying agent also. So water molecule gets separated here. Now the mechanism for this reaction is very important. So this mechanism they are asking every year almost for 3 marks. So what is the mechanism? Step 1. See, the first step is nothing but protonation of alcohol. First, this H2SO4 donates a proton to this alcohol. So if you take a C2H5, just wait, CH3, CH2OH. This oxygen contains 2 lone pairs of electrons, plus H plus. And this proton will be provided by strong acid concentrated H2SO4. So this proton accepts a lone pair of electron from OH, and then we can get a protonated alcohol, CH3, CH2, OH2 plus. Yeah, that is called a protonated alcohol. So protonation of ethyl alcohol gives protonated alcohol. This is the first step. Second step. The second step is nothing but loss of water to form carbocation. What the protonated alcohol formed here? See here now, CH3, CH2, OH2 plus. This is the protonated alcohol which is formed. Now, from this protonated alcohol, a water molecule get eliminates. How water molecule eliminates? See what this CO bond is there. Right now we are discussing involving cleavage of COH bond. This is a CO bond electron pair gained by this oxygen. By gaining electron pair, O plus becomes O and water molecule get eliminates. By losing electron pair, this C becomes a CH2 plus. So this becomes a CH3 CH2 plus H2O. Ethyl carbocation will be formed here. So loss of water molecule from protonated alcohol gives ethyl carbocation. This is a second step. Now come to the third step. So in examination you should the matter also. Just I'm writing equations here. Now what we got here? Ethyl carbocation. So I'll take the complete structure for ethyl carbocation here. This is the structure of ethyl carbocation. Complete structure. Now, loss of proton from this ethyl carbocation. From this ethyl carbocation, a proton get eliminates. How the proton get eliminates? This CH electron pair is shifted here. This is what I said earlier, breaking of alkyl group. The CH bond of alkyl electron group will break and this electron pair will be shifted to here. So if this electron pair is shifted to here, hydrogen get eliminates as H plus. If proton is removed, then here double bond will be formed. So carbon remaining 2 hydrogens with a double bond C H H plus H plus. That means what the H plus provided by the ethyl constant H2SO from the beginning, that proton will get separates. See, if add all these three equations, for example, this and this will get cancelled, this and this will get cancelled, H plus and H plus will get cancelled. What the remaining is ethyl alcohol gives water plus ethylene. The same we have written here. So this is the mechanism of dehydration of alcohols, which is a very important one. See once again. Step 1, protonation of alcohol. That proton will be provided by H2SO4. So protonation of alcohol gives a protonated alcohol. Step 1. Step 2. This protonated alcohol formed here lost a water molecule. This CO electron pair is gained by oxygen and water molecule gets separate. Then we can get a ethyl carbocation. That is step 2. Next, step 3. This ethyl carbocation, what is formed here? This ethyl carbocation lose a proton to give ethylene. So this is the mechanism for dehydration of alcohols, which is very important for 3 marks. Okay. Right. Now, so if you observe here in this mechanism, in the second step, there is a formation of carbocation. Okay. Now, so during the dehydration of alcohols, what the carbocation formed here, this carbocation may also undergo rearrangements. That is, primary can be rearranged to secondary, secondary can be rearranged to tertiary, like that a rearrangement of carbocations also takes place. And during this rearrangement, sometimes a ring expansion also takes place. Rearrangement of carbocation by ring expansion, or sometimes by ring contraction, or sometimes by hydride shift, sometimes by alkyl shift. In different ways, the rearrangement of carbocation takes place. Let us see an example for that. A simple example I'll take here. This is a reactant. This is allowed to react with a concentrated H2SO4 at 170 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then what is the product formed? What will take a OH from this carbon, H from this carbon, R from this carbon, we can write. Based on this structure, what the possibility I'll represent here first. If you eliminate OH here and H here, we can get this product. Or one more possible product is this one. OH from this carbon, H from this carbon, double bond will be formed here. So this is our expected product. But none of these two are correct. Both are wrong. Actually, here what happened is, during the reaction after formation of carbocation, a ring expansion takes place. Let us see how the ring expansion takes place. The rearrangement of carbocation takes place. The first step is protonation of alcohol. If add a proton here, this becomes OH2 plus. Then this electron pair is gained by oxygen. Water molecule get eliminates, and we can get C plus here. So in the first step, we can get carbocation. This is the carbocation what is formed here. Right. As we know that the stability of cycloalkanes is cyclopropane is less than cyclobutane, less than cyclopentane, less than cyclohexane. 5 and 6 membered rings are more stable than 3 and 4 membered rings or even 7 membered rings. Out of 5 and 6, 6 membered ring is more stable because of less hindrance. Okay, right. Now this is the carbocation formed here. Now this carbocation undergo rearrangement, nothing but by ring expansion. Rearrangement of this carbocation takes place by ring expansion mechanism. So what is a ring expansion? See, this electron pair this bond will break. That means this carbon retains this electron pair, and this cleavage of this bond takes place. And then this lone pair of electrons gain means electron pair gained by this carbon, that is transferred to this carbon. That means, see, I can show the intermediate condition. Like this. The cleavage of this bond takes place, and this electron pair gained by this carbon, and this C minus donates electron pair to the C plus. As this carbon loses electron pair, this becomes C plus now. So as a result, if you observe here, the same I'll represent like this. C plus. Let this as the first one, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and this will be sixth one. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So this is a ring expansion. So what the carbocation formed here, this carbocation undergo rearrangement by ring expansion mechanism. And this is the carbocation what is formed here. Then what is the next step? Loss of proton. Now here two possibilities are there. One more here. What the carbocation formed here? This is a secondary carbocation. Again this undergo rearrangement by 1, 2 hydride shift. So here 3 bonds over, 1 more hydrogen is present. And now this hydride shift takes place. Then again this rearrange it like this. So right here. Sorry, this methyl, and this is positive charge. Again rearrangement of carbocation takes place. Means a secondary carbocation rearranges to tertiary carbocation. Now this tertiary carbocation loses a proton, minus H plus, and that proton get eliminates either from this carbon or from this carbon. Either you can take, both are same. Then the product will be like this. This is the product formed. So a 5-membered ring gives 6-membered ring. So here two types of rearrangements takes place. Let us see here once. First, this OH group undergo protonation and gives protonated alcohol, and then that alcohol molecule means water molecule get eliminates. Then we can get carbocation. So here the carbon adjacent to ring carbon possesses positive charge, and this is a 5-membered ring. So there is a chance of ring expansion. Suppose if positive charge is present at second or third carbon, ring expansion is not possible because the distance increases to form the bond here. So the ring expansion takes place and we can get a 6-membered ring. So this is the rearrangement of carbocation by ring expansion. Then what we got here, if this is shifted to here, then we can get a secondary carbocation. Again, this secondary carbocation can rearranges by 1 comma 2 hydride shift. This H minus will be shifted to here. Then this will be converted like this. A tertiary carbocation we got. Now this tertiary carbocation undergo loss of proton to give the product. So this is the product. So like this, during dehydration of alcohols, what the carbocation formed first, if there is a chance of rearrangement by 1 comma 2 hydride shift or methyl shift or ring expansion, the rearrangement takes place. After rearrangement of carbocation, then the loss of proton takes place to give alkene according to Sergev rule. Nothing but a more substituted alkene will be formed as the major product. So like this, some rearrangements also possible during dehydration of alcohols. Right. Rearrangement as well as ring expansion, both takes place. And one more example, what is asked in the previous examination. Let us see now. OH. So here I am just mentioning 3 alcohols. This is another one. Right. So here I mentioned 3 alcohols, and my question is, among these 3 alcohols, which undergo dehydration readily? Which alcohols undergo dehydration readily? Okay, right. Then see here, if you observe, so dehydration of alcohols gives alkene as the product. Then out of these 3, which can undergo dehydration readily we want. So dehydration of alcohols gives alkenes. As you know, more substituted alkenes are more stable. Here there is no substitution of the benzene ring. That condition we can't apply here. There is no substitution. So only cyclohexane is there with the pi bonds. One more condition. More conjugated compounds are more stable. More conjugated alkenes are more stable. So here, if dehydration takes place, what is the product formed here? This is the product formed during dehydration. If this molecule undergo dehydration, this is the product formed here. Just a minute. Take care. Right. So if this undergo dehydration, this is the product formed here. If this undergo dehydration, this is the product formed here. Now, out of these 3 products, which is more stable? Out of these 3 products, this is more stable than this one. This is more stable than this one, because this is 2 pi bonds in conjugation. Here, this is a benzene ring, which is stabilized through resonance effect. So during dehydration, if the alkene formed is more stable, that alcohol can undergo dehydration readily, because more substituted alkenes are more stable, or conjugated compounds are more stable. Now what is the order of dehydration? First one is less than, second one is less than, third one. Okay, right. Suppose if you take different alcohols, primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, tertiary alcohols. Primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols are given. Out of these primary, secondary and tertiary alcohols, which undergo dehydration readily? So the order of reactivity of different alcohols for dehydration is primary less than, secondary less than, tertiary. Tertiary alcohols undergo dehydration readily. Why tertiary alcohols undergo dehydration readily? See, by the loss of water molecule, all these forms carbocations, primary carbocation, secondary carbocation, as well as tertiary carbocation. What is the order of stabilities of carbocations? The same order is the dehydration of alcohols. What is order of stability of carbocations? Primary less than, secondary less than, tertiary. So the order of reactivity of alcohols also the same. Primary less than, secondary less than, tertiary. This is so more conjugated alkenes are formed as the major products, and that undergo dehydration readily. If you are comparing different types of alcohols, primary, secondary, and tertiary, if you compare, the order of dehydration is primary is less than, secondary is less than tertiary. This is the order of reactivity for alcohols. And one more condition here. So here, during dehydration, depending on the reagent what we are using, we can get different products. At the same time, same reagent under different conditions, we can get different products. Same reagent, different temperature conditions, different products are formed. Or same reactant with different reagents, we can get different types of products. Let us see an example by taking ethyl alcohol only. I'll explain you. CH3, CH2OH. So when ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with a concentrated H2SO4 at a temperature of 170 degrees Celsius, then dehydration of alcohol takes place. That is, from one molecule of alcohol, a water molecule get eliminates, and we can get ethylene as the product. CH2 double bond CH2. Now, if the same alcohol is allowed to react with anhydrous Al2O3 at 350 degrees Celsius, instead of using H2SO4 at 170, if you are using anhydrous Al2O3 at 350 degrees Celsius, the same alcohol can give the same product. Okay, so different reagent and different conditions I am using, I got the same product. Now, take one more, second one. The same with the constant H2SO4 at 140 degrees Celsius. At 140 degrees Celsius, if the reaction is allowed to carry out, then from two molecules of alcohol, a water molecule get eliminates. From two molecules of alcohol, if you eliminate water molecule, we can get ether as product. Then we can get C2H5O C2H5, diethyl ether. Just here now, CH3, CH2, OH, and one more molecule, CH3, CH2. From these two molecules, a water molecule get eliminates here. This is okay. Then how this reaction, this water molecule will made, then we can get a C2H5 single bond O single bond C2H5. Let us see how this reaction takes place. Alcohol is there. This alcohol is get protonated. Then we can get a protonated alcohol. This will be attacked by another alcohol molecules here now. OH, CH5. This oxygen contains two lone pairs. Now this oxygen attack this carbon, then this electron pair is gained by oxygen, and this water molecule get eliminates. When this water molecule get eliminates, this alcohol is bonded to this carbon, then we can get like this: OH plus CH3, CH2. This is the product what is formed. Now from this, this electron pair is gained by this oxygen, and H plus get eliminates. If you remove H plus, by gaining electron pair, O plus becomes O. This product. Protonation, loss of water, and then loss of proton. Same mechanism, we got ether. So when ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with H2SO4 at 140 degrees Celsius, then we can get a diethyl ether as the product. The same reaction when carried out in the presence of anhydrous Al2O3 at a temperature of 250 degrees Celsius, then also we will get the same product. So dehydration of ethyl alcohol in the presence of H2SO4 at 140 degrees Celsius or Al2O3 at 250 degrees Celsius, we will get the same product. One more reaction. At 110 degrees Celsius, if Ethyl alcohol is allowed to react with H2SO4 at 110 degrees Celsius. We can get ethyl hydrogen sulfate, C2H5OSO3H. This is the product formed here. So ethyl hydrogen sulfate will be formed, C2H5OSO3H. So same reactant, by using different reagents under different temperature conditions, we will get different products. So this is regarding dehydration of alcohols. So in any case, if less stable carbocation is formed, that less stable carbocations undergo rearrangement to give more stable carbocations. And then from the more stable carbocation, the elimination of proton takes place to give the alkene. And that alkene formed also, more substitute alkenes are formed. Because more substitute alkenes or more conjugated alkenes are more stable. Okay. So this is regarding dehydration of alcohols. Next, come to the second one, the same. Dehydrogenation. Dehydrogenation of alcohols. See what the reagents commonly used for dehydrogenation is silver at 300 degrees Celsius or copper at 300 degrees Celsius, 573 Kelvin or 300 degrees Celsius. These are commonly used reagents for dehydrogenation, removal of hydrogen. Let us see now. RCH2OH, which is a primary alcohol. When primary alcohols means when the vapors of alcohol are passed over heated copper at 300 degrees Celsius. Or you can also take silver at 300 degrees Celsius, either copper or silver at 300 degrees Celsius. Then dehydrogenation takes place. See how dehydrogenation takes place. R, C, just let OH here, H here, H here. This bond also expressed here. OH bond cleavage takes place. CH bond cleavage takes place. That means from this H2 molecule get eliminates. Since H2 molecule get eliminates here, a pi bond will be formed between carbon and oxygen. That means what we got here? RCHO. This is nothing but aldehyde. Dehydrogenation of primary alcohols in the presence of copper or silver at 300 degrees Celsius gives aldehydes. Let us take an example for this. CH3CH2OH, ethyl alcohol, when dehydrogenated in the presence of copper at 300 degrees Celsius or 573 Kelvin, then loss of hydrogen takes place and we can get CH3CHO, which is nothing but acetaldehyde. So dehydrogenation of primary alcohols gives aldehydes with the same number of carbon atoms. Now I'll take a secondary alcohol as an example here. General equation R CH OH R. This is when this secondary alcohol is allowed to react with the copper or silver at 300 degrees Celsius. Then here also the cleavage of this OH bond and this CH bond takes place and this H2 get eliminates. Then a pi bond will be formed between carbon and oxygen. Then what the product formed here? RCOR. One hydrogen from OH group, one hydrogen of CH group get eliminates. Then we can get a ketone as the product. This is the general formula of ketone. Let us take an example for the same. CH3, CH, OH, CH3. What is the compound name here? This is nothing but isopropyl alcohol. So when this isopropyl alcohol is treated with same copper at 300 degrees Celsius, here one hydrogen, here one hydrogen get eliminates, then we can get a CH3CO CH3. What this compound is? This is nothing but acetone. Acetone is the product formed. So this is a secondary alcohol. Dehydrogenation of secondary alcohols gives ketones. Example, isopropyl alcohol on dehydrogenation gives acetone. This is regarding dehydrogenation of secondary alcohols. Now come to tertiary alcohol. R. Instead of this R, I'll take a group CH3 here. OH. This is an example of tertiary alcohol. So when these tertiary alcohols are treated with copper at 300 degrees Celsius, then here dehydrogenation cannot take place. Instead of dehydrogenation, here dehydration takes place readily. If a tertiary alcohol undergo dehydration, then we can get alkene as the product. RCR double bond CH2. Alkene will be formed. So why alkene is formed here? On treating with copper at 300 degrees Celsius, first this OH minus gets separates and we can get a carbocation C plus. Then what is the nature of that carbocation? Tertiary. A more stable tertiary carbocation is formed as intermediate, and then that loses a proton and gives a alkene. And here the reaction takes place by E1 mechanism, elimination mechanism. By E1 mechanism, tertiary alcohols undergo dehydration, not dehydrogenation, not this process. Loss of water takes place and gives alkene as the product. Let us take an example for the same. C, CH3, 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 OH. Tertiary alcohol when treated with the copper in the presence of at 300 degrees Celsius, then loss of water takes place and we can get CH3, C double bond CH2, single bond CH3 here. This is nothing but 2-methyl propane. 2-methyl propane will be formed as a product. This is a tertiary butyl alcohol. So tertiary butyl alcohol on treating with the copper at 300 degrees Celsius, it undergo dehydration readily, not a dehydrogenation, to give alkenes. See once again the same. Dehydrogenation. The most commonly used reagents for dehydrogenation are silver or copper at 300 degrees Celsius. On passing the vapors of primary alcohol over heated copper, we will get aldehyde. Secondary alcohols gives ketones. Tertiary alcohol gives alkene. And here one more. This reaction is used as a test to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. How to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohol? If an alcohol is treated with copper at 300 degrees Celsius, if you got aldehyde as the product, that is a primary alcohol. If you got a ketone as the product, that is a secondary alcohol. If you got alkene as the product, that is tertiary alcohol. So this dehydrogenation reaction is used as a test to distinguish primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. Right. So this is second one, dehydrogenation. Now come to the third one, oxidation of alcohols. This is also an important one. Oxidation of alcohols. So there are so many oxidizing agents. Some examples: Fenton's reagent, that is FeSO4 plus H2O2, acidified KMnO4, acidified potassium dichromate, concentrated HNO3, Jones reagent, which is nothing but the mixture of CrO3 plus H2 dilute H2SO4, Collins reagent, which is nothing but the mixture of CrO3 plus pyridine, and this Collins reagent is the best reagent to convert alcohols to, sorry, for the oxidation of alcohols to aldehydes for both primary as well as secondary. Okay, so like this, so many reagents are there. Aluminum tertiary beta oxide and some other also there. Dehydrogenation. Copper silver, రెండు రాసినాయి అంటే copper silver రెండు right. So oxidation of sorry, yeah. So like that, different oxidizing agents are there. In there, some are strong oxidizing agents and some are weak oxidizing agents. Acidified KMnO4, acidified K2Cr2O7, concentrated HNO3, these are strong oxidizing agents. Collins reagent, Jones reagent, Fenton's reagent, aluminum tertiary beta oxide. So these are some mild oxidizing agents. Still, so many are there. Let us say one by one we'll discuss. Oxidation of alcohols. First one, oxidation of primary alcohols. So I'll take an example, RCH2OH, primary alcohol. So when these primary alcohols are oxidized with mild oxidizing agents like CrO3 plus either dilute H2SO4 or pyridine. If you are using a CrO3 plus H2SO4, this is called as a Jones reagent. Or we can also use CrO3, which is complexed with pyridine. This is called as a Collins reagent. Even some other is there, PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate, PDC, pyridinium dichromate. These are commonly used mild oxidizing agents. Okay, yeah. Regarding PCC, later I'll tell. First is primary alcohols. Primary alcohols on oxidation with chromium oxide. These primary alcohols are oxidized to aldehydes. Just like as what we discussed earlier, dehydrogenation, similar to that. Here one H get eliminates and a pi bond will be formed here. Then we can get RCHO. And what the aldehyde formed here, this aldehyde cannot undergo further oxidation. This is a controlled oxidation. By using weak oxidizing agents, controlled oxidation takes place. Alcohol is oxidized to carbonyl compound, that's all. No further oxidation takes place. An example for the same, CH3CH2OH with chromium oxide, we can get CH3CHO, nothing but acetaldehyde will be formed as the product. Acetaldehyde, this is nothing but ethyl alcohol. So oxidation of primary alcohols in the presence of mild oxidizing agents. You can use any one of these four here, not only chromium oxide, either PCC or PDC or anyone. Right. Then we can get oxidation of primary alcohols gives aldehydes. Ethyl alcohol gives acetaldehyde. Now let us see what is this PCC and PDC. I'll tell here. PCC, this is nothing but a pyridinium chlorochromate. So what is pyridine molecule? So this is the pyridine molecule. This nitrogen contains a lone pair. This nitrogen donates a lone pair to H plus. Then we can get a pyridinium ion. This is a pyridinium chlorochromate, Cl CrO3 minus. So this is a pyridinium chlorochromate Without writing this complete structural formula, in a short form, we can write a PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. This is PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. Then what is PDC? This is nothing but a pyridinium dichromate. So this is pyridinium dichromate. What is dichromate? Cr2O7 minus 2. But here valence is 1. Here valence is only 1. This taken twice. So this is the formula of pyridinium dichromate. Without mentioning the formula, just in a short form, we can write PCC or PDC. Pyridinium chlorochromate or pyridinium dichromate. So both these two acts as mild oxidizing agents. These are used for controlled oxidation. Means alcohols are oxidized to carbonyl compounds which cannot be further oxidized by the presence of these oxidizing agents. Okay. Now come to the same primary alcohol second case. If you are using mild oxidizing agents, the reaction will stop by RCHO. Suppose the same reaction if you carry out with a strong oxidizing agent RCH2OH in the presence of acidified K2Cr2O7, nothing but a K2Cr2O7 plus H2SO4 mixture. There, first H2SO4 react with K2Cr2O7 and releases nascent oxygen atoms. And that nascent oxygen atom is responsible for the oxidation of these alcohols. So now, primary alcohols on oxidation with acidified K2Cr2O7. Then first we can get aldehydes. RCHO, and this aldehyde what is formed here, these aldehydes undergo further oxidation, same K2Cr2O7, and then addition of oxygen takes place and this forms RCOOH. Carboxylic acid will be formed with the same number of carbon atoms. So oxidation of primary alcohols with a strong oxidizing agent like acidified K2Cr2O7 first gives aldehyde, and that aldehyde can be further oxidized because this is a strong oxidizing agent to give alcohols. See the total process in a simple way I can show here. RCHOH. First what happens? Loss of hydrogen means removal of hydrogen, nothing but oxidation. In the first step, 2 hydrogen atoms are removed. The 2 hydrogen atoms combines with the nascent oxygen to form water molecule. Then we got aldehyde. In the next step, here an oxygen will be added. Then we got carboxylic acid. First step is removal of hydrogen. Second step is addition of oxygen. Both are nothing but oxidation only. So this is the mechanism, like this the reaction takes place. Now if you take an example here, CH3CH2OH, ethyl alcohol. When ethyl alcohol is treated with acidified K2Cr2O7, then we can get acetaldehyde CH3CHO. And this acetaldehyde undergo further oxidation to give CH3COOH, nothing but known as acetic acid. This is acetaldehyde. This is acetic acid. And the starting reactant is nothing but ethyl alcohol. This is the reaction here. So, oxidation of primary alcohols with a mild or weak oxidizing agent gives aldehydes. Whereas oxidation of the same primary alcohol with a strong oxidizing agent like acidified KMNO4 or K2Cr2O7 first gives aldehydes, and that aldehyde can undergo further oxidation to give carboxylic acid with the same number of carbon atoms. Alcohol, aldehyde and carboxylic acid, all three contains same number of carbon atoms. So this is regarding oxidation of primary alcohols. Still oxidation of secondary alcohols is there, tertiary alcohols is there, and how to distinguish primary, secondary, tertiary alcohol tests are there. In the next class we will discuss those.